All right, welcome everybody to the show. Happy Easter, everybody. And it looks like we are solid good to go. All right. Oh boy. Always fun to stream, I swear. It never gets old. But we are approaching the end of this series as well, article reviews. Hitting up an episode 9, where we either highly approve or completely tear apart an article that's hopefully inspirational, or sadly one large dumpster fire. That's right, they can't all be good. So, so explaining the image presented here that I choose all of my images and also modify all of my images. I'm a one-man army. That's right. From song choice, from music choice to everything. Everything you see here in the production is done by yours truly, so I hope you appreciate it. A lot goes into it. But I'm a natural, so don't worry, stress-free. So what are we looking at here? People's head in the sand. Some people, ignorance really is bliss for a lot of people out there. They don't want to be helped. They don't care. Well, at least they pretend not to care. But these are the ones who cry themselves to sleep because they're living miserable lives, filled with misery and suffering. Classic, isn't it? Some people just can't be helped. They insist on living lonely lives, miserable lives. So they end up with all types of either mental disorders or eating disorder, substance abuse disorder, all these disorders, because you're not in order. Your life is not in order. Hence, disorder. But what do we have here for this today's article? Well, taking a different sidestep here. Today's article is written by a fellow YouTuber named Teal Swan, who has been on YouTube for many years. She's very successful as well. We don't always see eye to eye, but that's fine. To each their own. Maybe in this category we do see eye to eye. We'll soon find out. Alright, so without further ado, we will be introducing at least what she looks like, Teal Swan. Okay. So here is Teal Swan. I'm pretty sure you probably have seen her already if you're into relationship style videos, meditation videos, health in general. You probably might have ran into her over so many years. Browsing on YouTube. Okay, so let's see what she says here, because I chose this quote for what she says here. I don't want to be against anyone. Same here. The problem is, in today's world, to be for people is to go against so much of what people are believing, what people are saying, and what people are doing. And I agree. That's why I chose the image head in the sand. The theme. Because this is exactly what she's describing. Many people insist. They just pretend like they don't care. So she's dealing with this issue too. Because I do run into, mainly online, people that they don't care. So they're living in perpetual misery because this is the cycle. This is a very vicious cycle. I'm very well aware of this. That they live a miserable life offline, so they jump online in order to vent their anger. That's it. And then they rinse and repeat. That's their life. And this is precisely what trolls do online. They actually think they're so proud to say, "Oh, I'm the best troll. I can troll everybody." When really they're just time wasters. They're the losers who have nothing going for them. There's nothing to achieve. There's nothing positive about them. And then the ones who laugh falsely, who pretend, from their couches, being the lazy ones. They pretend to be happy when they're not. They pretend to care for others when they don't. So, yeah, This is an issue with, I'd say, every single life coach out there, or therapist, or psychologist. They're all going to run into the same, we're all going to run into the same issue. With people, negative people, they insist that the world is out to get them and that they cannot prosper. That the odds are all against them and there's no reason trying. There's no reason to even try. So let's go ahead and proceed and see what this article is all about. Title of the article: One Way to Ruin a Relationship. The Love Doesn't Exist Story. Oh. Preach. These are the losers club. Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and just skim the article, see if there's any main points here. There's no possible way that I could be writing this article for you because I love you or therefore want you to feel good. No, I am writing this article because I want to see how messed up you are and how much you need to change. Or I am writing this article because I want to gain more followers. See the story you are telling yourself? Everyone wants and needs love, but whether or not we are going to recognize or accept the love we are given is another story. Yeah, so people taking their love for granted, maybe they do have love in their life, but they don't reciprocate. They take it for granted. That could be the possibility here. People often think because I focus on primarily relationships in childhood as the cause of adult dysfunction that I am on a mission against parents and on a mission to blame someone. This is not the case. What I am on a mission to do is to gift awareness to the human race. Awareness and truth and authenticity suck sometimes. Reality is not always sunshine, gumdrops, and roses. And the reality that we all must accept, whether we like it or not, is that even the very best parents in the world today are not in a perfect state of health, alignment, integration, or awareness. And so they will negatively affect the health, alignment, and integration and awareness of their children. Yes, negativity breeds more negativity. Or you can choose to prosper instead, to go against your negative parents and say, you know what, I don't want to end up like you. Such is the case in my case. I said, I grew up with mediocre parents. They did take care of me, but then they grew very monstrous, narcissistic, and abusive. And I said, ooh, it's time for me to leave. And so then thus the journey began. My own form of independence, as everybody must do. Not everybody had a great upbringing where it's just, dancing and roses and, oh, okay, my parents are the best parents alive. Nope. I dare say the majority of us is not the case. Either mediocrity or abusive or something else. Most parents alive today do not understand what love really is. That's very powerful there. It's very true. And therefore do not express real love to their children. Exactly. Then the children end up not understanding what the heck love is. They learn from TV and books and maybe hearsay, but that's not enough. One should learn it from the parents as an example. And if they don't have an example from their parents to follow, then they have to get that education elsewhere. If you can't recognize what love is, oof, you're going to fail in almost every department. You're never going to be happy. Figure it out. Most parents can't be truly honest, even with themselves, about why they have kids. Exactly. I pointed that out in a previous stream. You can't have kids just to have kids. Most parents don't even see that the loving things they do for their children are actually self-serving and often against the best interest of their child. Yes, that's very true. They think that's love, but it's actually manipulation. Most parents have no idea how to develop healthy intimacy with their child. Most parents have no idea how to feed their child so they are actually healthy. Yeah, just throw some Hot Pockets at them and some candy. They'll be happy, right? That'll get them to hush up. And most parents have no idea how to parent a child's emotions. In my case, my mother was always home cooked meals all the time. I mean, we did have some fast food here and there, but growing up, but it doesn't matter. Imagine that. Even when you have great things here and there, it could still fall apart. That's how fragile relationships really are in the beginning. And in my case, well, grumpy old men and women. Our awareness as a species is in its infancy. Yeah, awareness has gone very much down. It used to be really great from what I hear and see through different examples, audio and video, the black and white days, the words that were spoken, the wise words, the kindness and true caring for each other. Nowadays, it's a zoo, it's a circus. Everything's off the leash, off the hook. All right. Yeah, we are going down. We're devolving as a species. When we defend things being the way they are, or were, or make excuses for them being that way, it is because of what we are afraid of happening if we don't. Ask yourself, if I really admitted to and accepted the ways that my own parents messed up, what bad thing do I think would happen? Yeah, I mean, you can't repeat the same mistakes that your parents made. You have to really ask yourself more than just that question, by the way. I had to ask myself a lot of questions that my parents didn't teach me. I had to figure it all out by myself. And I'm just one of the exceptions. Most people don't figure it out by themselves, and they don't have somebody to look forward to look to for advice. Useful advice. Most of this world are just a bunch of greedy backstabbers and false personas. They pretend to care about you and they'll toss you under the bus the next day. Online and offline. So, I'm not surprised. That's what I'm saying. The signs are there that our species is truly devolving. Collectively. So, there's a few gems here and there like myself and others, but there's not enough. I can clearly see that. The reality is, it is a very rare parent, who intentionally tries to harm their child. Most injure their children thinking that what they are doing is loving their child and helping them. Yeah, well, I had a spanking stream about that. It's abuse, but sadly, people to this day still promote corporal punishment, physical abuse. Most of it is entirely subconscious, and this is a given. But the more we try to defend the way our parents were and make excuses for it, there you go, the less likely we are to switch a pattern. Yeah, and so the pattern of abuse continues. Well, my parents spanked me as a child. I'm going to spank my own children. Wow. You really have evolved, buddy. No, you haven't. And the pattern we are discussing today is one that needs switching. And even mediocrity spreads from parent to child. So the children grow up and they're like, oh, well, my parents weren't really in love, so I guess genetically that's a nice excuse. I like that excuse. They use it all the time. I guess I'm destined to be miserable too. Like father, like son, like mother, like daughter. I mean, there's 100 excuses except for the one right answer. Figure it out. Because people do not understand what love is and therefore do not know how to give it. Wow. Isn't that the truth? The reality is that many of us did not feel loved as children. That's the major problem, yes. So they grew up to be Tasmanian devils and just take it out on the whole world. Like just a bunch of losers, out of control losers. To understand what love is and isn't, watch my videos titled, What is Love and Your Definition of Love is Wrong. If we grew up a scapegoat in a dysfunctional family, we could feel that we were the family garbage can. If we grew up the golden child, we could feel we were not loved as we are. We were loved for how well we abandoned ourselves to meet our parents' needs. Yeah, there are parents out there. They force their children to do this and that. Like myself, They wanted me to go get a master's degree and a PhD. I said, no, this is where I stop. After my bachelor's degree, I'm done. I have senioritis. I'm done. I'm sick of this stuff. 16 years of school is plenty for me. Unless I need a master's degree or a PhD, then I'll go pursue one. Or if I need a certification for what I'm doing now as a profession, I don't need a certification. I don't need a PhD or master's. And that to me logically makes no sense anyways. You're just going to go make a college that much richer and get in debt that much quicker. You're not growing. It's you ending up with the short end of the stick. So, it doesn't matter how educated a person is scholastically. That does not prove their capability as a life coach, especially specializing in relationships. The proof is in the pudding. You judge by the fruits of their labor. So, all right, let's go ahead and if we grew up the golden child, yes, if our parent was hell-bent on our success, we could feel it was so they could look good to other people. Yes, that was exactly what my parents were all about. Mis hijos son los mejores. She would always say, my children are the best. Yet the way she treated us was horrendous in the end. As young adults. It was horrible. She liked the play doll stage when we were little babies, right? Little toddlers, little kids, about 10 years old. That's when the abuse started to begin. It's like, oh, you're starting to develop a mind of your own. With narcissistic parents, ooh. No. That's when it starts. That's when the troubles begin. And you have to deal with it because you have no alternative. What are you going to do? Run away? So you grew up stronger because of it. So to me, it didn't kill me. It made me stronger. If they gave us something so that they could get something from us, we felt that indebtedness. Okay. She has an interesting choice of words. It doesn't really flow. See, the way I write flows very nicely. It's my book. It's very hard to put down. That's like the number one thing almost everybody says. I think everybody has actually said that. It's hard to put down. And I wrote it specifically just like that. I knew it was going to happen because it's all about the flow. Teal doesn't have really good flow here. Her word choice, and it's really just chopsocky, but I'm trying my best to keep up with her cadence. Or lack thereof. No matter what story we told ourselves and no matter what we said to ourselves, down deep. See, usually it's deep down, right? We felt unloved. I think she's just trying to be different, but I'm trying to try to not to critique her so much on her writing. But yes, what she's saying is true. But the subconscious way we coped with feeling unloved by the people in our lives, in our early lives, will blow your mind. Well, that's usually the case, but the way I write is possible cases. And I cover every angle, so I understand. Not trying to compete with this woman. I'm just saying that her style is a little challenging at times to read because it's like, okay, you got to get your point across. See, that's part of article reviews. You can even critique the way they write, their word choice and everything. The flow of the entire article. In order to cope with not feeling loved, we adopt a belief that makes everything less powerless and painful. The belief we adopt is love doesn't really exist. So now she's getting to the point. This is the common excuse, yes. For people who have suffered, this is the common excuse. They got burnt, either through a failed relationship or through a tough upbringing that they didn't survive through. They're still traumatized. So anybody who says love doesn't exist, they're really messed up mentally and emotionally. They are not in a good state. Please, if you're looking for somebody to love out there, to try to love, potential soulmate, don't go with anybody who says love doesn't exist. That right there, I don't care how hot they are, how famous they are, whatever. Dude, you are just asking for a life of misery and suffering. These people will take it out on you 100%. Anybody who says that soulmates doesn't exist, love doesn't exist, stay far away. Not even with the 9-inch pole. I'm talking hundreds of miles away from them, if possible. You don't want any of that trash. Garbage. These people are losers. I don't feel bad for them. They just can't get their head out of the sand. They refuse to. So they want to be an empty shell, destined to be a loser forever. That's their choice. Everybody has the freedom to do so. It is to tell the story that all people are self-centered to avoid the feeling that you have no value. Exactly. They assume that everybody else is just like them. No. Speak for yourself. Count me out of that. I'm not in the dumpster can. I'm not in the dumpsters. Think about it. If the most painful thing was to feel that you were not loved, in which case you would be worthless and emotionally starved, and not close to the very people upon whom your life depended, then the way to escape from that feeling state and the thoughts that go along with it would be to tell yourself it's not that you aren't loved, it's that love doesn't exist. Right. That's your specific case that you have to deal with mentally and emotionally. You better fix it. But for you to go around preaching that love doesn't exist, that's a clear sign, a huge red flag that you have not overcome your post-traumatic stresses. This allows you to maintain your self-concept instead of feeling like garbage. Yeah, you see, this is a lot of typos here. No wonder the cadence is challenging. See, instead of feel like garbage, that's clearly a typo. Feeling like garbage. Maybe she wrote this too quickly, or maybe she had a writer write this for her. Her words, but poorly written for her. Yeah, who knows? Stay close to the people upon whom your life depends and feel shitty. Well, I wouldn't use that word. I'd keep it professional. For this article. When you're speaking to others, you can use whatever you want. About the universe in general, for everyone instead of just you, and it makes it so that you can stay safe and adapt in order to get your needs met. The way you adapt to get your needs met, that's a little repetitive, is through accepting that the way people survive here on Earth is transaction. Are you talking about like the business approach to relationships, friends with benefits? Is that what she's talking about? You accept the reality that if someone does anything, they are doing it for themselves. And if you do something, this is the business mentality. It is a strategy to get something for yourself. Yeah, like self-interest based. This is like friends with benefits. Or F-buddies, as it was previously called. This understanding has a real benefit because on top of helping you to avoid the pain of you not feeling or being loved, it makes relationships both predictable and controllable. It is easy to know what gets you discarded and what doesn't. You pay the bill at the restaurant because you don't want to feel indebted to someone in any way if they pay the bill. You meet someone's needs knowing that it is a guarantee that if you meet those needs, they will not abandon you. You get into the relationship where the business exchange being made is very clear, such as I give him status because of my good looks and he gives me financial security. Yeah, this for that. Your life becomes a subconscious transactional one. Yeah, I already talk about this. I do. And I clearly recognize it. And sadly, this is the way a lot of people think. If you think this way, you're a loser. You are going to lose so much in life. Thinking that everybody's out for themselves. And no, not when it comes to somebody you want to form a relationship with. You might be correct. The majority of people are out for themselves. But guess what? That's precisely the people you need to avoid. You can't just adopt this mentality and say, everything's going to be fine if I start a relationship with someone because I have this mentality, they have this mentality, most likely because you're just assuming. So you see what happens there? What if that person really does want to love you and you just don't care because you adopt this stupid mentality, this head in the sand mentality? Now you're the one ruining the relationship. Hence the title of this stream and this article. You just ruined your opportunity. And you know what? That bus may never come back again. That was your one and only chance. There's so many cases like that. Your life becomes a subconscious transactional one. To understand more about this, watch my video, Cut the Invisible Strings, how to detach from manipulation in relationships. But the flip side of this coin is what I want you to become aware of today. The way you react to other people giving you love. Exactly. What if they're really trying to love you and you just have this stupid mentality that, oh, everybody's out for themselves? No, maybe it's only you in this case. The way you react to people giving you love is to hold tight to your belief that love does not exist. You see how naive and immature that is? Then you'll never find love because you don't believe it exists. So what's the point in being in a relationship? I mean, there's some prostitutes. You can waste your life that way. You know? Simulation of perpetual failed relationships. Short-term, one-night stands. And to warp it into something that isn't love, you warp it into a love doesn't exist story to avoid the story that no one loves you. Exactly. People who say love doesn't exist or soulmates don't exist, true love doesn't exist, they're the ones who haven't been loved enough. They don't even know what love is because nobody has taught them love. They haven't felt love. It's very sad, but then it crosses a line from sad to pathetic when they insist on not changing their ways, on improving that situation one way or another. But by doing so, you totally miss people actually loving you. I'd say trying to love you. One can only try to love somebody with such a negative mentality and messed up emotion. Perhaps the most interesting thing about this pattern is that when this is your pattern, low self-esteem, that's what it is as much a strategy as using transaction to get your needs met. This might be hard to follow and might require some replays, but it is fascinating once you really get it. Low self-esteem is a strategy for protecting the authentic self. If you can't survive in an environment as an authentic expression, because that leads to consequences, the ego is born. This is foolishness, so yeah, you can say ego. The ego is a strategy, it's more ignorance than anything. A strategy that can only exist in an environment where there are others. It is a strategy to become a self that gets approved of. That self-concept has to be something that endears you to the people in your life. The ego in and of itself is a protector. It protects you by, this is all just denial. You're trying your best to just live in denial. Everything's fine, even though I'm not happy at all. And you insist that love doesn't exist, and you'll never be happy. It protects you by agreeing with people upon whom your life depends. So your self-concept that endears you to mom and dad is a poor self-concept. It is, I agree, I have no value. To disagree with mom and dad by maintaining a positive self-concept in the face of not feeling loved by them is to be at war with the people upon whom your life depends. But in order to survive emotionally, the ego that protects the authentic self splits in two. The vulnerable aspect of ego, which feels it has no value, and the protector aspect, which discovers a strategy to have value for others, to get love where it isn't being given freely. The vulnerable self-concept gets suppressed through the strategy you are using to be valued. You know, she could have explained this a lot better. This is quite the mumbo jumbo. I can kind of see exactly what she's saying, but this is very chopsocky. Once again, I have to interject this. A transactional one. My book does not read anything like this. My book is just, wow. You can read it in one day if you're a fast reader, but it flows way better than this. I wouldn't call this garbage. I would call this not thought of enough as a critique. This wasn't really thought of as word choice and flow. Sorry, as an author, it really does bother me. I'm trying to stay on point. Let's go ahead and proceed. It is helpful to see that a low self-concept is a strategy, and therefore it too is not who and what you really are. It is an inauthentic expression. Okay, but I mean, there's so much better ways you could have said all this. There's a lot of jargon here. It just really is. So just trying my best to keep the flow, if there is any. Sorry, Teal. If you watch yourself, anytime someone does anything that resembles love, you either do not take it in, or you take it in to meet a need by turning it into something that is digestible for you, something other than love. Yeah, see, that's useful right there. You don't know how to. A lot of people, they can't accept gifts, or they can't accept gestures of love. Yeah, because they're in this ridiculous mentality of, oh no, I'm in debt. I have to give you something. And no, just accept the gift. What are you? Why do you think everybody is just so self-interested? Just live life. Calm down. What the hell's wrong with you? I've met people like this. They're paranoid. I could give lots of examples, but let's just proceed. Here are some examples of ways you might do this. Someone tries to help you with a pattern of yours, and you tell yourself that they are doing it because they are sick of dealing with that aspect of you. So it is really for themselves. Someone cooks for you, and you tell yourself that it is so they can get recognition for their own talent. Well, I mean, it's okay to have pride in what you can do, but that's not exactly a home run there statement. Someone gives you a gift, and your first thought is, what are they trying to get from me? That's what I was talking about. Just accept the damn gift. Stop thinking, oh my goodness, is this guy a Russian secret agent, or is this woman trying to... Oh my goodness, dude. There's even parodies made on this type of mentality where they'd say a bunch of mumbo jumbo in their head, and then in the end it's like, you okay? It was not anything what you were thinking. Someone tries to help you to lose weight or get healthy, and you tell yourself it is because they are embarrassed to be seen with you the way you are. Yeah, this is a lot of negative mentality here, a negative mindset. I actually have a video about this. Yeah, the self-defeating mindset or something. It's in my video section. Someone does chores around the house to make it more pleasant for you, and you tell yourself it is just so they can absolve themselves of guilt, or it is just because it has to be done in general. This is horrible if you think this way. Whoever the shoe fits, you gotta stop thinking like this. This is like OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder of a mental kind. This is not good. This is no bueno. Someone invites you on a trip, and you tell yourself that they just don't want to go alone. I mean, that could be part of it, but it's so dramatic. I actually mentioned this yesterday in yesterday's stream. I mentioned this. Yeah. That, if you're expendable, like, well, I don't care if you come with me or not, but if you come, it's just because I don't want to be alone. It's not that you're anything special and that I really want you to come. This is a big deal, man. If your partner says this stuff that, oh, I don't care, you can come or not, I don't care. Whoa, a huge red flag. What do you mean you don't care if I come with you or not? Then why should I go with you? And now the relationship, then you quickly find out the hard way. This person does not love you at all if they speak like this. This is what this whole article is about. This loser's mentality where you better be prepared to lose a lot. And you'll never find an opportunity to love somebody with all of your heart and soul with that negative mentality, that mindset. I could go on and on all day with these examples. Yeah, me too. Me too. If you want to see an example of someone who has adopted this strategy clearly, watch the character Connie Baker, played by Jennifer. Is it really Jennifer Goodwin from the movie Mona Lisa Smile? Well, I've heard about that. I haven't seen it, I don't think. All right, so approaching the end of the article, I believe. Yes, we're quickly approaching the end, so I mean, so this should go quickly here. Let's see what Teal. Let's give Teal a chance. I don't like her style of writing if she wrote this. I don't like it at all. Some things, they stand out, but most of it is just word salad. It's not even decent choice, and the flow is horrible. So my book is, like I said, nothing like this. I'm extremely proud of my book, if you couldn't tell already. I mean, once you pick it up, you can't put it down. Myself included. When you operate in the world with this adaptive strategy, you will always feel as if you are starving because you cannot just receive love. Right. You're not open. You're paranoid. You have to work hard to transactionally get what you need. You also build walls to prevent feeling good. And thus keep pain in instead of to keep pain out. Because of this, I want you to watch 2 of my videos. The first one titled How to Receive. The second is titled Building Walls to Keep Pain In. Yeah, people, they don't want to experience life because they think everything is negative. Like, oh, you're just doing that just because you're just... No, why are you assuming things like that? That's fear. That's a form of fear. Actually, it's a fear of love itself. Very curious. Very curious, isn't it? Yeah, their problems definitely go back since they were children. Real severe mental and emotional issues. I don't even know if they're ever going to change with a mentality like that. And there are people out there like this. It's the loser's mentality. Because we live in a world where people do not understand love. That's exactly it. And therefore do not practice it with awareness. We do need to be aware when people act in loving ways that are simply transactional ways of getting their own needs met. But believe me, you are a person who is already aware of this aspect of relationships. What you need practice with is to realize that sometimes people really do love and really are trying to show you love every day, but that love is lost on you. Yeah, these are people who have trust issues. That's what this is ultimately boiling down to. If you are afraid to trust, you will lose over and over again. It is like putting quarters into a payphone and they only ever slip right out of the bottom change slot. Yeah, I preach so much for free on this channel. 90 total live streams, for free. So much free content, and yet some people, it just doesn't get through their skull. It doesn't even get through one ear and out the other. They can't process it if it does get through one ear. They just don't get it. And you know what? That's very sad, but at the next stage of sadness is patheticness, right? Because it's like, well, that's your path that you're choosing. At that point, you're mentally capable of changing the train around, but you just allow the momentum to keep dragging you further and further down into crashing into a dead end. I'm not in control of that locomotive. This makes people in your life feel unreceived. Yeah, it's insulting, actually. And they feel concerned about you for your own mental, emotional well-being. This makes people feel unloved by you. This makes you someone who is exhausted and starving, living in a world of scarcity. I'd say paranoia. This makes it so you can't discern between people who do love you and people who don't. Yeah, no discernment. Trust issues. This makes it so that you cannot face the actual pain in your life that you are trying to avoid. Yeah, if you don't face your fears, you'll never conquer them. Something's wrong with you if you're thinking this way. If you have trust issues, you better fix that before even thinking about going into a relationship with someone. Because you're just going to make them miserable and waste their time. The terrible self-concept and pain of not being truly valued and loved by the people who you tell yourself should have loved you the most and whom you are the most desperate to feel close to and valued by. If you need help facing this wound, try the completion process. You can read about how to do the process in my book that is quite literally titled The Completion Process. And if you want assistance with it, you can find a practitioner of the process at... Okay. Promoting your stuff, which is what I do too. I promote my stuff. Hey, look, inevitably promoting hers too. This strategy is a strategy of avoidance and therefore resistance, and it is a guarantee that whatever you resist will persist. Yeah. We will literally, kicking the can down the road, right? Procrastinators. Okay. We will literally ruin we will literally ruin our relationships if we can't feel genuinely nourished by them and can't receive other people. Yeah, love is all about giving and receiving. I always say this. We will only be as committed to relationships as a transaction is clear and present. If you have someone like this in your life, make them conscious that you are doing something for them out of love and expose the transaction that does exist when you do something for them, if there is one. If we continue to live from this story, we will continue to perpetuate a world that is not based on love, but is instead based on undercover transaction. It perpetuates the very conditions that led us adapting in this way in the first place. So recognize this pattern in yourself today. Recognize the things you do for people in order to get a need met by them. Recognize the story you tell yourself every time someone does something for you. Recognize, jeez, 3 sentences with recognize, really trying to drill it home, aren't you, Teal? Recognize the deep wound you're trying to avoid by telling yourself this story and by telling yourself that love doesn't exist. Okay, all right, Teal. My, was that a little bit painful? No disrespect, but I mean, if you had a ghostwriter or something, maybe that was it. Your videos are pretty clear, but sometimes they can be unclear. Whatever. I mean, that article, I think it's an okay article. It gets a pass, but we could have had more insight. Maybe from an actual psychologist, which articles I reviewed in the past. But even some of them are just insane and ridiculous, and they shouldn't be psychologists. But I appreciate it, much appreciated, Teal. So I've tossed in my own little parts here that I've gathered from others, just to kind of not coincide, but add on to this topic that love doesn't exist. These ignorant losers who say this, they're clearly wrong. Teal agrees, obviously. So, and most people do. Most sane human beings who are actually alive and they know what love is, they'll agree 100%. That love does exist. Obviously. All right. So here's the first one on the chopping block. Love is just a word until someone comes along and gives it meaning. You see, that's what it's about. So anybody who says love doesn't exist is because you don't have anybody to love. Or you do, but you don't know how to love, and you're taking your life for granted because maybe they're trying their best to love you, but you don't even know what love is and how to love them. Maybe you don't know how to fall in love. That's why I made a video called Falling in Love, or how to tell if you're in love. All those videos are very short, very easy to watch. That should jog your memory, jog your thoughts, get you going in the right direction. Let's take a look at this. And to be honest, I think you just love the idea of me. The fact that I could feel your loneliness and ease for days. Oh, and ease your days. I don't think you've ever loved anyone other than your own self. Oh man, narcissists everywhere. Until you knew the true meaning of heartbreak. You don't know what you have until you lose it, absolutely. I don't think you could ever know the true meaning of real love. Exactly, real love is just another word for true love. There's so many blind people out there that they just ruin their relationships with this negative loser's mindset. Their head in the sand. Who knows if they ever get their head out of the sand? The sand of ignorance. Let's take a look at how losers think here. True love exists? Yeah, you really need four question marks there. Wow. Does true love exist? I don't think so. It's unreal, inhuman. Oh my goodness. You were literally born out of sex. And you're gonna say that inhuman? What are you even talking about? The sperm and the egg. Wow, that's inhuman. Too much of a fantasy to be real. You missed an O there, buddy. A fantasy? Love is a fantasy? No, it's a reality that you haven't yet experienced. Yet I still search for it. Well, good luck with that loser's mentality. You're not gonna find it. You don't find love in the first place, buddy. I mean, nobody's going to become attracted to you because that's the first phase of love itself. There's attraction, friendship, caring for each other, falling in love, loving each other till you're truly in love, and then eventually becoming soulmates. So, you don't go find that stuff. This isn't The Price is Right. Wishing that it will find its way to me, well, you're going to have to keep wishing with that loser's mentality. But why search for something unreal? See, total contradiction, total loser set. He's saying that, oh, yet I still search for it. What are you searching for? Something that you don't believe is real? And you wish for something to come to you that you don't even believe in? That it's a fantasy? That it's inhuman? Why are you wishing and searching for something that's inhuman and unreal in the first place? This person, man, the people who think like this are so stupid. I'm wild, always finding fun. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, living in denial. Yet no love. There's your answer. Yeah, that's going to be the rest of your sentences. Can it really exist? Oh my goodness. Can something that seems like a fantasy exist? Something that most people say you can only find once. So if it exists, wow, nice spelling there. Why hasn't it come to me yet? Because you have this stupid mentality. You're full of doubts. Oh my goodness. You think it's unreal and inhuman and a fantasy. So why bother searching or waiting or wishing? Of course, you're not gonna ever find anybody to love. That's why I'm sharing this. This is exactly the way these idiots think. Whoever says love doesn't exist. That's what's going on in there. There's like a monkey and a few drums in their brain. And they play the same drums over and over. That's what's going on in their brain. Such a pea-sized brain there. That's exactly the way these losers think. I mean, they're full of contradictions and there's just hypocrisy everywhere, ignorance everywhere, no wisdom, nothing. Does true love really exist? True love is a strong commitment, a promise to be there for each other through whatever comes your way. It is through those dark hours of pain and the loud bickering that true love shines through. Well, in the beginning phases, this could be totally possible, yes. Likely, the synchronization process. Like I said, 10 years. Because after 10 years, you should have no more arguments. You guys better have matured and grown up. Because if not, you're doomed for failure. This is what perfection is all about. Because you chose to look beyond all that and see that the love you have for each other is bigger than the things that tried to tear you apart. Precisely. So, yeah, good stuff there. True love does exist, and when you find it, it will move your soul like nothing else. That's exactly what I try to preach what I actually do preach every single time on this channel. Through live streams, through videos, through YouTube shorts, you name it, one-on-one. And there's people who actually request to speak one-on-one, but they never show up. They're like, I don't like Discord. I don't like... Well, then you're not serious. Don't waste my time if you're not willing to do what it takes to communicate with me. You don't want to leave a comment. You don't want to, connect with me. And Discord is an awesome platform. It's so easy to use. I mean, you can just chat there. You don't have to speak to each other. I mean, grow up. Seriously. I mean, people are like, yeah, but I don't want... Then don't waste my time. Seriously, I literally have so many other things to get to. I have goals, projects, and I have a life offline. So this is all pro bono. Okay, this is free content. Don't waste my time. Okay, so if you want to speak one-on-one with me, look, if you're a kind person and you're not going to be lazy and say, I don't like Discord, well then, if you're like, okay, I don't mind Discord, yeah, I'm gonna create a free account and I just would like to chat with you. Absolutely, come my way. Come on this way, and we can chat for years. You could just leave a comment here and there. I'll eventually get to it. That's it. You don't have to be all shy about it or lazy about it. So if you really want to help me help you and help yourself, just do it. Enough with the stupid excuses. Jeez. People these days, I swear. This is what they look like. They're like, oh, I don't like Discord. Oh, honey, we're going to have a kid. I don't like kids. Does that mean I have to feed them and change the diapers? I don't. Wow, dude. You're going to be such a great father. I don't like having to refill the gas tank in my car. Can you do it for me? I don't like the smell of gas. The fuel from the fuel stations. Oh, wow. That's so mature. I don't like exams. I don't like touching pencils. I don't like getting ink on my fingers. I don't like... Dude, don't waste my time. If the shoe fits. If you're serious about something, what do you do when you're hungry? You're going to go eat something, right? You don't sit there and say, well, some people do. I don't feel like going to get something. Hopefully, when you need to take a shower, you'll take a shower. When you need to go to the bathroom, you'll go to the bathroom. When you need a breath of fresh air because you're not feeling good, you'll take a step outside. You'll step outside, right? Hopefully, you'll drink some water if you have a headache. Because water is the ultimate blood thinner. I mean, and not reach for the aspirin always because you're going to intoxicate yourself eventually. These little things, these little minor inconveniences, if you can even call them that. It's called being a grown-up. It's called having courage to help yourself, right? If you need somebody else to help you, just ask. Don't make a big deal out of it. You know what I'm saying? So if the shoe fits, seriously. By the way, tie your own shoes. Otherwise, you'll trip and fall like this guy. Let me check the chat just to see what... I don't expect anything, but... Oh, goodness. Yeah, this article review was a little bit hilarious. I didn't enjoy the article. It was so chopsocky, very difficult to read. But, the message is there, and I managed to make a good little class out of it. So, all right, so Maria Olivares... that's okay. You can just smash that rewind button. I do it all the time. I do listen to my own streams in the background when I'm working on future streams or future projects. So, and yeah, it gets me laughing all the time. Good times. You can pick and choose the people around you. Stay away from the losers. Yes. I just do my best to give 100% of myself to the people I love. Yes. Only to those who deserve it, Maria. Yes. Don't waste your time on people who they claim to say, what is it, nothing but love, and then they act completely the opposite, Just there's hypocrites everywhere, so only the people who really deserve it. They think love is a fantasy and it doesn't exist. They are so doubtful. Yes, you have to find the one. Yes. Yeah, I agree. Okay, thank you so much for participating, Maria. And definitely going to have more episode 10s on the way. Tomorrow is going to be a very exciting stream. I'm not going to announce what it is, but from a beloved series. This one has been next final episode for this series. Coming a bit later because we're on the 9th one. It's just the way the cycle happened. But this series, article reviews, has been entertaining sometimes and disappointing in other times. So it's a little bit of a roller coaster. So not my favorite series, but definitely very important to look at the works of others and see what we can extract. Because if you don't know how to do research, proper research, then unfortunately you're going to end up listening to the wrong people. I say wrong because they're going to lead you astray into dead ends. You don't want that. And don't recommend them to other people either, because you're just going to ruin their lives too. So it's not misinformation or disinformation. It's just bad information. So Teal, was this article horrible from Teal Swan? No, it's not horrible. It just could have been written a lot better and more concise. Too much wording, and also the flow wasn't there. It didn't flow good. You know, the choice of words and sentence structure. But is it a bad article? No. It's a productive article because she had some good points in there that were just hidden in the mumbo jumbo. So that's all I got for you guys for today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and as much as I did. And much love to everybody. Happy Easter once again. And I'll see you in the next stream. Much love.